Hello. Before the video starts, I'd just like to, give a brief introduction here. A few months back, I had the opportunity to interview one of my all-time favorite drummers, Mario Conte. You may know him for his work with Will Wood, Enox, and Crystal Plains, though he's done a lot more than that. And I had an incredible time doing this interview. I wish that I released it sooner, but life's been busy, and I finally just got around to putting the footage together. And yeah, thank you so much to Mario. He is not only one of my favorite drummers, but one of the nicest people ever. He's a great guy. Yeah, without further ado, here's my interview with Mario Conte. Hey there, I'm Talking Coat, and today I'm interviewing the amazing and incredibly talented Mario Conte.
What's up? What's
Mario,
up?
thank you so much for talking. It's truly an honor.
Yeah, thank you for having me, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Would you like to say a bit about yourself?
Sure, yeah. So my name's Mario. I am 30 years old from New Jersey. I've been drumming for a long time. In multiple bands. People most know me with Will Wood, Enox, Crystal Plains, Visenya. There's so many. There's a big list. I just was in California over the weekend playing for a K-pop artist.
Oh, wow.
That's been pretty cool. Yeah, we did a Wango Tango Festival this weekend. It was like Doja Cat was headlining, Gwen Stefani. It's like the most like unreal experience ever for me. So it's a different
Wow.
world, but we made it.
That
And
is really cool.
yeah, I'm
Wow.
pumped.
So, uh, yeah, about how long have you been drumming?
Oh God, probably like around 25 years.
Wow.
I started very young. I started around 5 years old. My sister, she was the drummer first. I give her credit like every single time anyone asks me. I'm like, she came home with the snare drum. I saw shiny objects, and I was just like, I got to touch that. And then she told me specifically not to touch her drums. It's like that scene in Step Brothers where like he's like, don't touch my
Yeah.
drum set. It's literally my childhood where anytime she would leave, I'm like, all right, I have like an hour window to mess around with this thing as much as I can, and then one day just eventually got good enough to where I was like, I really want lessons. I actually took guitar lessons before I took drum lessons, and I hated
Wow.
it. I tried learning what was it, Betrayed by Avenged Sevenfold, and I just had the worst time with it. And then I learned Killing in the Name of, and then I was like, all right, yeah, this isn't it for me. And my lessons would finish before my sister's, so she would be in the next room playing drums with Rob Senior, and I was with Rob Junior. Robert Pertola. They're both amazing musicians. And I would peek in the room, and I would just look at Rob Pertola do his thing, and he just looked so badass. He was just such a cool dude. So we swapped because she saw me getting kind of good at guitar,
Right.
um, and I just always gravitated towards drums. She was like, "Can we swap one week?" And then we swapped, and then we didn't swap back for a while, and I just stayed on drums indefinitely from there.
That's really cool. And yeah, that reminds me of my close friend of like 10 years or so. He's drummed with me for a long time. And yeah, I am definitely not the greatest at drumming.
Yeah.
So anytime I go near the set, he's always like, "Whoa, buddy, you stick to your instruments, I'll stick to mine."
Hey, sometimes the
So
best stuff comes out, from people that aren't native to the instrument.
yeah.
Yeah, I teach. I have like around like 30 students right now, and most of my students that are young, from like my youngest is 4 years old,
Wow.
turning five next month, and he's like doing stuff that I'm already like, how, like when I was five, I sucked. I was so bad. And these kids just, I don't know what they're eating or what their parents are feeding them, but like they got some super fruit that they're just ingesting that everything's coming out beautifully. Sometimes they'll play stuff where I'm like, oh, that's really creative. I wouldn't have thought to do it that way. Or they'll hold their sticks a certain type of way or do a fill a certain type of way. And it has me thinking, I'm like, all right, how can I, take that? Because your students are your influences too. They
Right.
influence your way of teaching. So it's really cool to see how a lot of these kids will like, take what I give them, make it their own, and then I take that, put it back into my curriculum and teach somebody else, like, oh, this worked for this person. Let me try this method on this person and kind of, you know.
Yeah, I mean that's awesome. And I kind of wish there was like a drum fruit, like some sort of One Piece sort of thing
Oh
where
man, that
just,
would have been you're literally I have the camera resting on Ace's fruit right now.
well, there you go.
Holding it up. There we go.
Well, what are some of your biggest drumming idols or inspirations?
Oh man,
I
so
know
many.
that's a hard question.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so many. When I like the number one for me, honestly, when I grew up, was John Bonham.
Oh, there
My
you go.
dad, he had these Led Zeppelin DVDs, and that was like around the time I was 5 years old, 6 years old, watching these DVDs of Zeppelin live. I think it was like Stockholm or something like that, like some crazy festival or show. It was like the famous Moby Dick solo. I
Yeah,
saw John Bonham playing it, and at 5 years old, I'm like, this guy's using his whole body to play one instrument. That's extra. I want to do that. I'm extra. Like I was just like,
yeah,
I needed to get my energy out somehow. And when I saw John Bonham just going crazy, I was like, like career day in elementary school. Oh, what do you want to be when you grow up? Oh, I want to be a police officer. I want to be a fireman. I was like, I want to be a fucking rock star, dude. Like that,
that's awesome.
that video, like from that point on, I was like, that's my career. Like when I get older. Um,
That's sick.
yeah. In recent years, Benny Greb, he's my favorite drummer. He is by far the most humbling person to watch because like he could play all this crazy stuff. He does like four-way independence where his left foot has a brain, his right foot has another brain, and his hands are just doing a whole bunch of crazy stuff. But he is such a humble player, and I think he knows humility a lot more than anybody, like that I've seen play where he knows how to sit in the pocket really well and he cares about the groove more than anything, right? Like that is something that like I was so cocky when I was a kid, and I was like I just focused on being fast. But then when I started getting into like my early 20s, like I was like, okay, something's got to change. It's not all about being fast. It's like how can I make a person that's not a drummer feel what I'm trying to convey, And
Yeah,
groove, that is it. Groove is the number one thing where people are going to be like, oh my god, that's sick, right? They're going to be going
yeah,
stank face the whole time. So Benny Greb, Matt Garska, complete opposite of Benny Greb. You know, that's the person where you want some brain food, you want a little midnight snack. Watch a Matt Garska video on like metric modulation. That's like that'll just break your brain, make you want to give up, and then you're like, nah, I got this, and then spend like 5 years trying to do like 30 seconds of one of his videos.
yeah.
So
It's awesome. Let's see. So another very, broad and challenging question. Do you have a favorite band? Not necessarily of all time, but at least
yeah,
for right now.
my favorite band has always been Circa Survive. I really connected with them when I was younger, and that was one of the first songs I actually found on my own that wasn't, like I went on my sister's iPod and she yelled at me for like stealing her music, right? Sibling stuff.
Of course.
It's like the crayons, like don't touch my crayons. It was
Right.
don't look at my iPad. These are my bands. I found them, right? Um, but I found Circa Survive, and it just resonated with me. The difference between medicine and poison is in the dose. That song, hearing that groove again, going back to groove and how important it is. I heard that 16th note rhythm, you know, and the only other song I heard that rhythm on was like Everlong, where it's
Right.
like just constant the whole time on the hi hat. But he had the snare on three, and it was in 3/4. It wasn't in four,
Ooh.
right?
Yeah.
So 1 2 3, 1 2 3, right? And I was like listening to the song, and I'm like, that's sick. And then hearing Anthony Green sing and looking at his lyrics, I was just like, oh my god, like brilliant, brilliant. The band it's a very unique band. Second, I'd probably say like Animals as Leaders, Hiatus Coyote, love them. My music is like all over the place. So there's a
Yeah, I
lot
feel
of
that.
different genres in my playlist. So
Yeah, I think that's great, to allow yourself to diversify like that. Just
yeah,
sticking to one genre is kind of tough for me at the very least. And, I've definitely seen you as a drummer between, Enox, Crystal Plains, and the Tapeworms. It's like
yeah,
you've got like the metal and you've got like the whatever you'd call Will Wood stuff, it's
yeah.
awesome. But it's like it's just great that, you're open to do
Yeah,
that. So
I think
love
it's
that.
very important for a lot of musicians because a lot of the time, like you'll get like stuck in like like in your comfort zone. Like
Right.
I my first band was a punk band. I was in a we were literally called the Dies, the DIYs, right? And that later became an acronym. The original acronym was do it yourself. So we were the do it yourselves, but we just the dyes just kind of caught, and then it later became a post-hardcore band similar to like Devil Wears Prada, and we just took the acronym and made it Drowning in Your Sleep.
Yeah.
And that was like a an Under Oath reference that like we just kind of like came up with. I'm like, oh yeah, that's a cool play on words like for what we were calling the band. But I grew up playing punk. I always said like my dad, he was like a Sabbath, Led Zeppelin, Dave Matthews, right? My
Yeah.
mom, she was Gwen Stefani, no doubt, George Michael, Luis Miguel, right? Tito Puente, like all the Spanish side, that's
Yeah.
all my mom. So having like both of those worlds growing up, you hear a lot of different styles of writing and drumming. Drums are so different, like from different parts of the world.
Yeah.
Afro Cubano, like listening to like Afro Cuban music, it's so diverse, like in its own way, where like it's a lot more spiritual, and you don't practice that stuff to a click, right?
Right.
It's all feel, right? Then you have progressive metal, which is like you got to be married to the click and be
Yeah.
completely. You have to be a robot.
Yeah.
So it's cool. Like I always imagine, like what would it sound like if I were to put, you know, conical style drumming, which is like Indian style drumming, right,
Hmm.
into a metal song, right? Or what if I put metal into Will Wood, right? And I do
Right.
that live a lot, where I just add a little bit of double bass, the crowd loves it, and I'm like, that's it, just for like 2 seconds, right? And then you go back to playing jazz because why not? So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. That's cool. Uh, let's see. And actually, that reminds me before I continue that, yeah, what you're saying about like starting out in a punk band and stuff. A couple years ago, I was in a kind of like post grunge, I guess you'd call it, because
I,
I grew up, my dad and everything, he would mostly play Nirvana, Pearl Jam,
say Nirvana,
stuff like
yep.
that. Yeah, and can you tell from the hair and everything? But
Well,
so
STP, Nirvana,
yeah,
yeah,
but so I just like you said, that was my comfort zone. I knew those songs, I knew that style, and I kind of went off of it. But eventually I got to the point where that just my heart wasn't really there.
yeah,
It was just kind of like I wanted to experiment, but I didn't have the opportunity to do it in that setting. So that's kind of why I became the musician that I've decided I would become, and
awesome, yeah, yeah,
I love what you said also about incorporating like different inspirations into the songs. Like
yeah.
you definitely find that a lot in lots of metal and stuff with
Oh yeah.
kind of Middle Eastern inspiration with a lot
Yeah,
of the riffs and everything.
Bloodywood.
Yeah,
Bloodywood
exactly.
is a brand new band that's like crushing it right now, and they're mixing two genres of together that like people would be so afraid to, right? Because it's
Right.
like so like how do you do it? How do you go about it where it's not cringy, but at the
Yeah.
same time it turns heads, right?
Yeah.
And they found the Krabby Patty secret formula. That's just how you just got to take that shot, and look at Will's music. I mean, Will,
Right.
when I joined the band, what was that, like 2017 that I joined the Tapeworms,
Yeah.
2016 maybe. A lot of the music was just so diverse already, pre-normal album.
Right.
And when I came in for the normal album, every single song that he showed us was a different genre, you know, and I'm like, this is gonna be a crazy record, man. I'm like, every song sounds different. And then the people that would ask me, like, oh, what genre are you guys? Yes.
Yep.
That's I literally just answer with yes, because it's just each song has its own spotlight in a unique way. Most of the stuff that I do on that record is pretty pocket, but then you'll have songs like Suburbia, uh, Second Sightseer, Marsha, Black Box, like all of those songs are their own animal, But it's
Yeah.
just like you got to keep the animal in a cage for like the first like minute and a half, and then you just let him loose. That's just kind of how he writes music, and it's been such a pleasure, working with him over the years. It's so cool to like have him, especially him in the driver's seat sometimes, where he's just like, you know, telling me to do this with my left hand, telling me to do this with my right hand, and he's like, oh, can you play lefty? Could you put your left hand over here and then do this with your right hand? I'm like, like I start like spazzing
Yeah.
out. I'm like, yeah. And then he just his brain is just so unique when it comes to rhythm and writing drum stuff. So it's cool. It's awesome.
Yeah. I can definitely see that when I watch like the documentary about making the normal album and all that,
Yeah.
it's awesome. Uh and it's just funny that like it's just kind of crazy that I'm talking with you right now, which like, of course it is, but because all the time, my friend who's the drummer that I was talking about before, he'll be trying to play black box or whatever, and we're just jamming, and it's so funny. It's like
Yeah.
he's just doing this, and now I'm talking to the guy who made the drum beat. It's
That
just
song is a pain in the ass, I'll tell you that.
yeah.
Literally, we're rehearsing it, and my hands, I'm like, like just playing that song, and I'm like, my right arm literally doesn't stop doing this the entire song. Like the whole song's on the snare, that, you get that right? Then it goes to the ride,
Yeah.
goes back to the snare, ride, then that whole interlude where he's doing the whole hello, why don't you have a seat, right?
Yeah.
Floor tom, the whole time. Then the end
Yeah.
of the song, back on the snare, and then there's a crazy fill. So I'm like, that song is literally just like a right arm workout,
Yeah.
and then the left arm gets to like relax a little bit. But
Yeah.
yeah, that song's a crash. I still got to notate that whole record. I've been trying to notate it for like the longest time, but work, gigs, touring.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
when you're in like 200 bands, it's kind of hard to find
That's kind
time,
of that's kind of like the meme with drummers. Like good drummers are always in like 10 bands.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like if one person can't have you to themselves, it's like, oh hey man, I noticed that you have this 1 week off.
Yeah.
Let me borrow you. Enox literally did that to me in between these Willwood shows. They posted a flyer opening up for a Skylit Drive, and I was like, oh shit! I'm like, that's awesome. And then I'm like, wait a minute, I gotta fly. I look at the date. I'm like, it's literally like 5 days after the first leg. So
Wow.
I'm like driving home from Maryland. I fly to Atlanta, and then first show's in Wisconsin. And I'm like, but we're also in like the middle of a release cycle too, where we've been releasing. I think we're on our. Oh my god, how many songs have we released this cycle? Fifth song, I think we're on.
Yep.
So, and these are like honestly the best songs that we have. That like this is the best stuff we've written. So I'm so excited to finally get it out.
Yeah. I mean, the stuff that you guys have released recently with Enox is just, it's really killer. Like
Thank you, thank
every
you.
time I see a new song release, it's just so exciting. It's so
Hell
cool.
yeah, thank you, man.
Yeah. And let's see here. Was there ever a point that you reached where like you realized you kind of had it with your like drum talent, where you realized it was more than just a hobby and that you could really do it?
That's a good question. Honestly, I feel like my first talent show, like that was the first thing that came to my mind when you said that. I did the talent show my freshman, was it freshman or sophomore year? I think it might have been sophomore year of high school, and I was kind of like not like a total loser in high school, but like middle school, absolutely. Middle school, like I had a small circle of friends. Freshman year of high school was pretty rough, and then I lost like 30, 40 pounds. Actually, I probably lost more. I was like 195, and I was like 2 inches shorter. So I think I lost probably like around like 50, 55 pounds.
Yeah.
Went down like 4 pant sizes, and got the scene haircut, the flippy hair, right? And then I did the talent show, and that talent show kind of changed my social life for a
Yeah.
while. Like everyone was talking about it. Everybody was like, talking to me the next day about it. And it was like the first time where it was ever me, like just me on a stage in front of a full auditorium. And I think it's like one of the like oldest videos I ever posted. And it was such a starstruck moment. And then one of my sister's friends, who was a senior, picked me up, like as I was done with the solo, picks me up, carries me on his back. The announcer was like, "Oh, give it up for the greatest drummer alive!" Right? And I was like, "Not a chance," but I'll take it. Right? I was like, "Hell yeah!" Right? And the crowd was just going crazy. Everybody backstage was like, "Dude, I didn't know you were like that. Oh my god!" And I was obsessed with Mike Portnoy at the time. So like that whole
Nice.
solo was like Mike Portnoy and Joey Jordison fills, like the whole thing. There was no groove in it. It was literally just me going crazy for like I don't even know, like 2.5 minutes. Um, and that was also the first year that I did the Guitar Center drum off.
Yeah.
I turned 16 that year, and that was like, okay, it's time. Let's see if I really got it. And then, making it, I made it to district finals that year, and that's like past 2 rounds. And back then in 2010, they would put your name on Guitar Center's website
Oh
if
wow.
you made it that far. So me being the little, snoop that I am, I was like, all right, who are these other guys?
Yeah.
And I'm looking up like, like this guy doesn't have a YouTube channel. Kevin Bowden. Wow, this guy's really good. Juan Carlito Mendoza. I'm like, search him up. Guitar Center 2008 grand finalist,
Oh
right?
wow.
Made it to California already. I'm watching his video. He's doing this crazy thing where he puts his elbow on the snare and he's doing this gravity blast into it. Independence, like a freaking, octopus. This guy, like, you could have convinced me that he had like an extra arm or two. Like, I
Right.
was just like, I'm like, I have to go up against that at district finals. I'm like, that's pretty crazy. So he wound up winning the whole thing 2 years later. But I had to go up against him three separate times. And watching him every single time, that was the first drummer that I've ever seen outside my teacher that I was like, this guy's one of the greats. Like,
Yeah.
this guy has already put his footprint you know on the world as one of the greatest drummers ever. And I started taking lessons from him. I was like, you know what? I'm like, this is the guy that won the whole drum off. This is the guy that beat me every single year that I made it to the district finals. I was like, I need to learn from him because he's just so amazing. I'm never gonna get this chance again, right?
Right.
Took lessons with him. He was the first teacher I had after my first teacher, Rob. That I was just he made me feel like I didn't know anything on drums. I was just like, he's giving me all these independence workouts, and he gave me this book, Conversations in Clave, which is a Latin rhythm book by Horacio Hernandez, and I was just blown away. I was like a whole new world of knowledge where I'm just like, man, I'm like, maybe I have 20 plus years before I'm even at that level. Even now, like as a teacher, I'm like, there's so many things from that book that I'm still, you know, not done with.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy stuff. But yeah, when I was 16, that was like the turning point for me. I was like, I want to, make this my main career. I don't want a 9 to 5 job. I don't want to have a boss, working for somebody. It's the worst. Retail, sales, hell no.
Yeah.
Never again.
Uh, let's see. Out of all the bands you're in, do you have a favorite song that you guys made or just to play?
Um, Man, that's a good one. I'll give you one from each band.
Okay.
Crystal Plains Okabe was the first release that
Hmm.
I released with them, and that band was the band that got me back into the metal scene. So I'm eternally grateful for those guys. Even though we're not as active, two of them had children over COVID. So we got three dads in the band now. So it was a little hard to kind of coordinate shows and rehearsals and releases and that stuff. But we're still all boys. We're all homies.
Right.
But Okabe was like one of those songs where I was just like, damn, I'm like, this is a heavy one. Enox, man, uh, Fallout was probably the one song that was like the craziest because I had like it was like my first Garska moment where I was like,
Yeah.
all right, this is like, they wanted a really, really choppy drum fill in the middle of the song where it was like kind of like, like a solo section. And
Yeah.
that was like the first real like progressive thing that I think I've ever released, like in the metal industry. I was like, that's a very, very, and it's just me and Roy hitting these crazy accents in the middle of that song. And then it just goes into this heavy ass breakdown.
Yeah.
But when we play that song live, it's so rewarding. Like to see everybody just like lose their shit over it. It's so good. And then William, um, man, Suburbia, Marsha, um, those were probably like it's probably from the normal album. It's got to be like the big three for me. It's Suburbia, Marsha, and Black Box. Like those are the big three for me. Like those songs, those are the ones I did my first playthroughs for on YouTube.
Hmm.
Um, and that really like got me back into the drumming community as like an influencer. Uh, those songs are just crazy. Suburbia, especially, that song is like 10 genres in one song.
Yeah.
Like, writing the drums for that was such a painful process. Rewarding, it wasn't a horrible time, but it was like finding the right groove for each section. Will had a huge hand in that. A lot of it was his brain and just my independence of being able to like handle all of these transitions that he was just throwing out at us. I remember the first time we heard that album. It was in my basement. He played all of the songs just straight through. He's like, "This is the album," you know.
Wow.
And I'm just Suburbia. He played Suburbia, and I was just like, "Bro," I'm like, "How?" I was like, "How did you write that?" And
Yeah.
yeah, that song is just such a beautiful song. I love that song so much.
I totally agree. Uh, Yeah, I mean, I had the opportunity to play that song one time in front of a bunch of like 60 and 70-year-olds at an open
Nice.
mic.
Hell
Yeah,
yeah.
so that was a lot of fun. And I remember one dude who he sings sea shanties at the open mics, which has nothing to
Yeah,
do with this conversation, but I think it's pretty interesting.
dude, I
Uh,
literally have a pirate map tattooed on my arm.
that's
So,
awesome.
Assassin's Creed Black Flag, best Assassin's Creed. I don't care what anyone says. It was the best one. The sea shanties were the
Awesome.
best part.
But like he comes up to me and he's like, "Yeah, that was really good. Who did that?" And I'm like, "Oh, it's Will Wood. You should check him out." Trying to
Nice.
introduce him to a totally different community. And
Yeah.
he's like, "It reminded me of They Might Be Giants." I'm like, "Okay, so you do get it, Like
Okay. All
it's like,
right. I like that.
yeah, so that was cool. Um, and yeah, it's such a fun song. It's
Yeah.
one heck of a way to start an album for sure.
I don't know what goes on in that man's head, but guy's a genius. I've known him for years, and just seeing how he's grown, he's just he deserves it all. He's such a down to earth, genuine guy. Love him.
That's great. Let's see. Uh, this is totally different question, but do you have a favorite food?
Favorite food, steak. I love steak.
I totally agree with that. That is
Like
actually my number one.
if I had like a last meal, it would be, either a New York strip or a ribeye, pan seared, butter basted on top of rosemary and garlic, right?
Yeah,
Side of mac and cheese, mashed potatoes, some Brussels sprouts. That's the perfect dinner for me.
I am totally there with you. I would totally go to the Mario Conte
Oh man,
barbecue.
that you're invited to the cookout, bro. I got you.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Yeah, steak is great,
Yeah,
uh,
yeah. Pizza and
incredible
ramen are
food.
definitely tied for second place. So
Oh, heck yeah.
yeah.
Uh, I know you're a big One Piece fan, as we touched on earlier. Have you been watching any other shows or movies lately?
I just saw Sinners in theaters.
Nice.
Phenomenal movie. That was like the first movie I saw in theaters in a long time. I went with my buddy Jane, and there's like nobody in the theater. It was just us, and we're just like talking to each other the whole movie. And we went into that movie knowing nothing. So
Yeah.
that was awesome. Severance, phenomenal. Enox actually just did some content at Lumen,
Oh, wow.
uh, which was sick because they were all up here for the music videos that we just shot. Um, and they were able to go to Lumen and do some content on their way back to Georgia. And I was like, you guys are so lucky. We watched the season finale while they were up here too for season two.
Awesome.
Anime. I'm trying to think of what else. Hell's Paradise is pretty sick.
Yep.
Been watching that. Um, Promise Neverland. I finally watched season one of it. And that show is fucked up. That show is really messed up. What else? I'm like trying to watch like all the stuff that I missed out on because like me and my girlfriend finally caught up. She never watched One Piece entirely.
Yeah.
So last year we started it, um, and we finally caught up to current. So that was like my second and a half rewatch of One
Yeah.
Piece. So now I'm just like I was going back and I'm like noticing all the small details that like Oda just sprinkled, across like the
Yeah.
25 years that this story's been going on. Yeah, it's awesome. But yeah, a lot of shows that I watch, they have to like be like real shows, like not anime, right?
Right.
Like real people acting. They have to be like on the same par as Breaking Bad for me.
Oh, heck yeah.
Because like nothing has like really grabbed me, like besides Better Call Saul, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, there
You
you
know,
go.
nothing's grabbed me like the way Breaking Bad did when I was younger. Like that was just like that was the show. I was like, hell yeah. I'm like, everything that's going on in this show is crazy. But yeah, no, anime, it's just so easy to watch.
Yeah.
Easy to just fall into like a binge with like a million different shows. Tokyo Revengers, that one's sick. That was one of my favorite ones. Yeah, there's so many.
Yeah. And I I do need to catch up with One Piece if I'm being completely honest.
Crazy shit's going on.
Yeah. My cousins who are actually from New Jersey, so go figure,
Nice.
really got me into that. So that's awesome. And funnily enough, they also really like Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul and all that. So it's like
Nice.
I don't know what it is about New Jersey,
If
but
they haven't watched Severance, and if you haven't watched Severance,
yeah,
watch it. I
yeah,
went into that one knowing nothing as well. Show's crazy. My dad's been telling me about it for like, over a year to watch
yeah,
it. And I was like, yeah, sure. Because he watches like so much Netflix, Hulu, Paramount Plus, Disney Plus, Marvel, right? Like he watches so many shows.
yeah.
I can't get him to watch one anime. He's like, I don't want to watch cartoons. I'm not a kid. I'm like, you don't understand.
Yeah. Um, well, seems like we're running out of time here, so I'm gonna wrap this up, I guess. And yeah,
Excuse.
okay. Um, all right. So yeah, it my computer died. But it's all good now. So we are back. Hopefully that doesn't happen again. It's all plugged in. Let's see. What were we talking about? We were talking about TV, movies, and all that. Uh, I guess a good question after that is, do you have a favorite movie?
Shaun of the Dead.
Yeah.
Shaun of the Dead. That is literally my favorite movie of all time. I've seen that movie thousands, thousands is probably an overstatement, but thousands of times. I'm doubling down on it. I
Yeah.
could probably recite like if there was like those statuses where it's like, oh, if you had to recite a whole movie word for word, gun to your family's head, you had to recite one whole movie word for word. What movie would it be? Without a doubt, Shaun of the Dead.
Yeah.
Best.
That's awesome. Uh, was it who was it that directed that? Was that Edgar Wright? I think.
Was that Edgar Wright or was that Nick Frost? Did Nick
Oh, it
Frost
might have been
actually?
Nick Frost. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
That's a good movie.
yeah. I know Nick Frost is he's Ed.
Yeah,
In the movie
exactly.
he's Ed, but I don't know. That's actually a good question.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I know Simon Pegg and Nick Frost, like those are like Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz, At World's End. Like
Yeah.
it's them.
Yeah.
And then they had that one show, I think it was on Hulu, where like they were like chasing after aliens
Yeah.
or something like that. Like it was weird. And then Simon Pegg is in The Boys. Oh, also The
Yep.
Boys. We didn't even talk about The Boys.
Yeah, exactly.
That show's insane. Yeah.
Yeah. There's just like so many good shows out there, there's not enough time to watch them. It's like music too, not enough time to listen to it all.
I missed out on like 7 years of metal. Honestly,
Yeah.
maybe not seven. Maybe like from like 2013 to 2018, 2019, maybe.
Yeah.
I think 2019. Yeah, so like 5 years of metal. I didn't listen to Era. Uh, what's another big one that everybody hates on me? After the Burial,
Yeah.
right? It wasn't big
Right.
on them,
Exactly.
and like they're like, dude, how you're not into them? And I'm like, yeah, bro, I missed out on them. I don't know. I was like, it was just years of playing, different music. Like I was playing drums for a pop what do you call it? An actress. She was a Hollywood actress. She is a Hollywood actress. I was playing drums for her for a while. Rob Fissari, he was Lady Gaga's producer. I was
Oh
playing with
wow.
him. That was a cool gig. I got to hear the original version of Paparazzi.
Wow.
Um, haunting. So sad. That song is so sad when Lady Gaga's not singing it. But like his version was amazing.
Yeah.
It was like a lot more emotional. And
Hmm.
he's playing piano the whole time too. He would play guitar too. He'd just pick up the piano and start. I was like, all right, guy's crazy. But yeah, I was doing a lot of session work between like 2013 and 2019. Um, and then the tapeworms,
Yep.
that stuff. Farthest thing for metal. So yeah, just I missed out on so much music. So I'm still catching up. I'm just listening to like all like North Lane. I started listening to North Lane in like 2020, 2021. One of my favorite bands of all time right now. They're so
Yeah.
good. So awesome. Oh, Willow.
Willow's good.
Willow
Yeah.
and Pathogen, you need to check that album out. It is album of the year for last year for me. Like, it's phenomenal. So
That's
phenomenal.
awesome. Is there like any genre of music that might be surprising that you really like to listen to?
Latin. I don't know if it's surprising. I love Latin music.
Yeah.
There's a lot of different stuff. Pop. I love pop music. Bruno Mars. I'm a
Yeah.
huge Bruno Mars fan. I know my girlfriend doesn't like him. I think that's the one she doesn't like. Rap. Love rap. Kendrick. That's my dude. Been listening to him
Okay.
since Good Kid, Mad City. To Pimp a
Yeah.
Butterfly. I was huge on that album. Actually, a lot of musicians, Thundercat, Sput from Snarky Puppy,
Oh
and
yeah.
Ghost Note. Sput was on Hood Politics. He did the keys for Hood Politics. He did the
Really?
drums on For Free in the beginning of that album, and that's
Wow.
all jazz shit happening in the background of an argument. You know, um, but yeah, there's so many cool musicians that you wouldn't like think are on your favorite records. They are, especially like rap records when they sample a whole bunch of stuff too. Kendrick sampled in Duckworth. He sampled Atari by Hiatus Coyote.
Wow.
Crazy, right?
Yeah.
Drake took like the whole thing from building a ladder, right? But like
Yeah.
it wasn't as like he just took the song and sped it up, right?
Yeah.
Kendrick actually like tore that shit apart, put it back together, and made it like he made a beat, man. Like he made
Yeah.
that song grooved so hard. It all goes back to the groove. Like if it doesn't groove, like
Yeah.
I don't, it doesn't have my vote. You know,
Yeah.
I gave it the Chuck Norris thumbs up. That Duckworth all day, all day. That song
Yeah.
is such a good song. But maybe Conical. Conical, BC Manjanath. He's a
Hmm.
huge percussionist in the conical scene. He's that dude that did the Pythagorean theorem as time signatures,
Oh
and then
wow.
proceeded to just go crazy over it, and like do all of this crazy stuff while playing in 116, 116, 216, 316, 5, 8, 13, 21, or something like that. Whatever the Pythagorean theorem is, right? Like nerd shit. Like that dude is such a nerd, but like he plays the tabla. Like it's crazy. That style of music, Indian conical, is like the upper echelon of echelon, right? Yeah, upper
Yeah.
echelon of drumming. It's just such a like out of mind, out of body, experience to like hear that for the first time and be like, how, you know?
Yeah.
I would definitely check that out if anyone watching hasn't ever heard of conical music. It's such a beautiful genre of music.
Yeah. That's really cool. Uh, let's see. You ever listen to King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard?
I got into them recently.
There you go.
A friend of mine, Peter, put me onto them. He was playing. I was hanging out at my friend Will's house, different Will. Actually, equally as well known, Will Ramos. Yeah, I was hanging out at his old apartment, um, and Peter had these records. And he puts on a record of King Gizzard. And the first time I met him, we were just kind of bullshitting and talking. Um, and he, was telling me about King Gizzard. I was telling him about another band that he hasn't heard of. We're just like, trading music because like he seemed like somebody that have like a, cool taste in music. Just like if you ever met Peter, like he's just like such a chill dude, like very
Yeah.
relaxed. And like, there's a mysterious side about him. I was like, all right, you know what? I bet this guy listens to some cool shit. And then he told me about King Gizzard. I think I asked him what his favorite band was, and he said King Gizzard. And I didn't realize how deep those guys go.
Yeah.
There's a ton of
It's
music, so much music from them.
yeah.
And I'm just like,
It's
I didn't know where to start. But they're great. I still haven't dove really far down the gizzard hole, but they're very, very unique. Very, very cool band.
yeah. Yeah. They've been one of my favorites for a while. They it kind of cemented them when I saw them live. That's kind of what
Mm-hmm.
cemented them as like really good because it's like not only did they put on just like a good performance music wise, but it was just such an enjoyable experience. And
Mm-hmm.
like you said, they are kind of hard to get into with 20 something albums, but
Yeah, yeah.
it's it's really something. Uh I was just wondering because they do some pretty crazy time signature stuff and have some pretty
That's
good
that's what
drumming.
made me turn my head and ask him. I'm like, who the hell is this?
Yeah.
Like we were literally playing One Piece, playing the card game. And I just turned to him like, who is this? And he's like, oh, he's like, this is King Gizzard. I was like, this is crazy. I was like, what? The drummer? Oh my god,
Uh-huh. Yeah.
nut. The guy's a nut. Um, oh, another genre of music. Going back to that other question. Japanese jazz.
Ooh, I love Japanese jazz.
Yeah, Mouse on the Keys, Fox Capture Plan, Bohemian Voodoo.
Yeah.
Um, Huge into Japanese culture. Japanese jazz is like one of those genres where it's just like very contemporary. Like it's not like
Yeah.
as like there's a lot of different subgenres of it, but like Mouse on the Keys, that's a lot more progressive jazz versus
Hmm.
like Bohemian Voodoo is a lot more chilled out, relaxed, contemporary. Not too progressive, but they do some awesome stuff.
Yeah.
And they're just so it's like elevator music, but like for nerds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have a friend who is really into a lot of that Japanese jazz and a lot of the other stuff you've mentioned actually. And
Oh, nice.
he'd be totally jealous if he knew that I was interviewing you because he's a long time Will Wood fan and
Oh, hell yeah, nice.
he's a drummer as well. And he saw I think he saw Will like um back on his last tour. So
Nice, nice.
it's I don't know if he's watching this, but Isaac, if you are, then you know who you are. And
Gotta come hang out next time, bro.
uh so he's awesome though. And he definitely helped me get into your guys' music. So
Hell yeah.
if
Thank you,
it's
Isaac.
awesome and yeah, he's great. And if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't have known about the tapeworms and Will Wood and all that. And if it wasn't for that, I wouldn't have known about Enox. And I just, it's all coming together. It's all
Oh,
connected.
the degree of separation.
Yeah. Um, so with Enox, I know you're gonna be busy with the tapeworms tour is coming up if uh but with Enox, I know you guys are also releasing a lot of music. Do you have any plans on doing any touring anytime soon with them or
A headlining tour, I'm not entirely sure. We did just sign to a label earlier this year, Theoria Records. They've been taking awesome care of us. It's also run by one of our, close friends in the scene, Cody. He's in a band. What do you call it that we toured with? What do you call it? I keep saying what do you call it? I'm trying to remember what tour that was. Oh my god. If not for me, when was that? That must have been like 2 years ago. I think like right when we released Mortar Shell. Um, we did a small run of shows together. Um, and they've been killing it. If not for me, they've been just crushing it ever since that run we did. I'm so proud of those guys. They made it, I think, past like 300,000 monthlies or something like that. I forget how
wow.
many monthlies they have now. They're crushing it. I'm like so proud of those guys. I think he's on tour in Europe right now. Um, and he's just been very communicative with us, very patient with us, and we've just been working on this release for the Polarize drop, which is going to be that's going to be the last single that we release is called Polarize. Um, Not sure when the whole thing's going to come out, but we're trying to get some cool features if we can. We're trying to, really push the barrier on some of the stuff that we're dropping. We want it to be like, a different side of Enox because we had the Euphoria album that we dropped when I joined the band. That was not me on drums. Everybody thinks it's me because
Yeah.
I was in the band when it came out. It was not me on drums. I think that was Adam Ramey or I forget who else. That might have been Adam. I'm pretty sure that was Adam on the recordings, but. Um, the Paradise EP, that was the first thing that I was on. So Mortar Shell, Inferno, Fallout, Paradise, that's your boy.
Yeah,
Um,
I love that EP.
yeah, it's such a fun. It's short. It's very
Yeah.
very short, but the songs that are coming out now, Orion, I was so stoked on that song coming out.
Yes.
That was like one of my favorite songs before I joined the band. They showed me a demo of it, and I'm like, this is incredible. I was like, that breakdown just didn't end. Like he just kept on
Yeah.
screaming, and I'm like, I was like a little fanboy before I joined Enox, and then you know, I asked my girlfriend, I'm like, do you think I could do three bands? And she's like, you need to join this band. She's like, this band, absolutely. She's like, so
Yeah.
I got the seal of approval from the Beeb, and I was like, there we go. joined. We worked on that album. We're adding more and more songs to it to make it a full length.
Yep.
And it's just been awesome. It's been such a ride. If we can do a headlining tour, that'd be sick. I'd love to see our numbers go up a little bit more before we take
Yep.
on, because booking these 300 cap, 400 cap venues and not selling them out, doing a headlining tour, it hurts a little bit,
Yeah.
to know, like, all right, could we have advertised more? Should we have advertised the album more prior to announcing a tour? There's just so many factors for different markets of the world. To East Coast, absolutely, we got that
Yeah.
all day. Midwest and West Coast, there's a market there, but can we sell out? Like if we played Chain Reaction, the last time we played Chain Reaction, it was awesome. I don't think we sold it out completely, but you know, we weren't headlining,
Right.
and we were a local. We had some people come out for us, but not a lot. Um, we want to be able to like provide that every. We want to give the fans as much of an experience as we're getting, because
Right.
like if fans come out to a show for like one of their favorite bands, and they're like, "Oh, dude, there's only like 50, 60 people here. Oh, it's kind of empty. Oh, I don't feel like moshing." You know,
Right.
we want to make sure that like we build ourselves up individually on all of our socials, on the band social. I think we got Enox to like 28,000 followers on Instagram now.
Nice.
um I'd love to break the cap at 30 this year. If we can
Yeah.
get past that 30,000 soon, then there's hope. I'm like, okay, maybe we can actually do this. Maybe we can actually take on a headlining tour. But it's very, very hard, and it's very discouraging sometimes when you'll play like a uh
Right.
random show on the run on like a Tuesday night, and you're playing in front of like 30 people, 40 people. But sometimes there's that one person in the crowd, regardless of whether you're playing in front of 30, 40 people or 3,000, 4,000 people, you should be putting on the same energy. And we
Exactly.
always do. We always we play every show. If there's a more intimate crowd, we make it a more intimate experience.
Yeah.
Michael hops off stage and gets up in everyone's face, which I love.
That's
Uh,
awesome.
Regardless, and that's how we get a lot of our, a lot of our like day one homies, a lot of our, fans that like we come back, we know their names. Like every single time we come through, we're like, "Oh, dude, you're here! Yo, what's up?" Like,
Right.
it becomes a lot more personal because we get to talk about, you know, being on the road, writing this song, writing that song. Oh, dude, you followed us since that. Oh, that's awesome, dude. I love that song. Like connecting more on a personal level versus like you get to these really big shows where you're playing in front of like, you know, 500 people, 700 people. You don't have a lot of time to talk to individual people,
Right.
versus like, all right, we need to get out of the venue. We need to pack up, be in the van, you know,
Yeah.
by 1 a.m., get on the road, drive 7 hours. It's a time crunch. So
Yeah.
yeah, if all goes well with this release, I would love to tour the Polarize album. It's gonna be crazy. Some of the
Yeah.
best songs aren't even out yet. One of my favorite song on this album isn't even out yet, and I'm ready for people to cry when it comes out. It's
Wow.
like I love this song so much. It's just such a like it hits here when you hear the lyrics, and you're like, damn,
Yeah.
a lot more singy shit on this album. I love it.
That's
Yeah.
cool. And let me just say, if you guys ever do come up to Maine, I can guarantee a pretty big crowd, you know.
Hell
And
yeah,
I'll be right in the front of the mosh pit too if that
hell
happens.
yeah.
Uh that'd be awesome. But uh yeah, I mean, let's see. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I'd like to touch base on. Let's see. I guess if there's any last things you'd like to say, then that'd be a good chance.
Thank you guys so much for supporting me all these years, supporting Will Wood, Enox, Crystal Plains, Visenya. Some more new stuff is coming out from Visenya, so be on the lookout for that. Will Wood is on tour. I think most of the tour is sold out, so if you see tickets in your area, make sure you cop them. I'd love to see you there. Enox is going on tour with the Skylit Drive in a month. That's pretty crazy because I listened to those guys when I was younger, and I'm a fanboy. So that's gonna be awesome playing with them. And just get ready for new music from everybody. From Enox, from everybody, from Enox, from what do you call it? Visenya. That's it. I was like, everyone's releasing new music. I'm like, Crystal Plains is dad's. Will's doing his thing. But yeah. Uh,
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much.
Yeah. And thank you so much. It's truly, like I said at the beginning, it's really an honor to be talking. And
Yeah, man.
yeah, and yeah, I mean, this has been very fun. You have been an incredible person to talk to, and
Thanks, man.
it's great. So I'm
Word,
looking
word.
forward to the barbecue, man.
Yeah, man. I'll let you know when the cookout is.
All right.
I got you, bro.
All right. Thank you so much.
All right, take care, guys.
Thank you so much for watching my unfiltered, unprofessional interview with Mario Conte. I truly hope you enjoyed it. It was, once again, just so much fun to make, and I really cannot thank Mario enough. He is just an incredible person, and I can't thank you guys enough either for watching it, if you made it this far, especially. I know it's kind of a long video and different than what I usually upload, but yeah, if this is your introduction to me, hi, I'm Talking Coat, and I hope to be doing more interviews like this in the future. So